Hi, is that Mr. Schifrin?
Yes.
Hi, thanks for taking the time. My name is Brad, and I'm with my friend Ross, who's been speaking with your colleague Jerry, and I'm with Chris. We do a record collecting show here in the UK, and we're big fans, so thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
Can you read? I know that you are used to talk, your rhythm is fast, naturally.
Yeah, sorry.
If you can slow down.
I will speak. I will speak as slow as possible. Sorry, I apologise. I know I speak fast.
No, you don't have to apologise. I apologise for asking you this.
I think it's Londoners, we speak really quick. So, sorry, but thank you for your time anyway. And what we wanted to ask about was we wanted to start. When we speak to people, we just tend to want to hear about their passion for music rather than have structured questions. So what we'd really like to know is, when you were young and you obviously you trained classically, but what got the passion for jazz started?
Well, I was born in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, and there was no jazz there.
Yeah.
All my childhood, I was born in my father was a concertmaster of the Buenos Aires Philharmonic. I knew a lot about classical music, but nothing about jazz.
Yeah.
And when I was a teenager, still there, I made my own revolution when I discovered jazz through radio. There was one radio station that had one program called, in Spanish, the same, it meant modern jazz moderno.
Right. Okay.
And there was, they had some advertising, commercial, or shoes sellers, especially shoe production.
Yeah.
Very expensive, very good. And the guy, the disc jockey, he knew a lot about jazz, and he liked jazz. And when I discovered that music, it was like a shock for me.
Sure.
I mean, a good shock.
Yeah.
The kind of change, like I was blinded by this music. I knew all the classical, Bach, Mozart, Beethoven. I was very, I was playing piano.
Yeah.
I studied piano since I was 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And my first piano teacher, for your information, do you know the conductor Daniel Barenboim?
Yeah, his father.
His father was my first piano teacher, Enrique Barenboim.
Fantastic.
So, all of a sudden, this music, jazz, I had no idea what it was, but it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I started to buy records. I bought a lot in those days. There was only 78.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were no CDs.
No.
And it came also the 33 a little bit, but 78 was the most common.
Sure. Yeah.
Who were your early influences when you first started listening to jazz?
I'm sorry, you have to speak a little bit louder and slower.
Okay. Sorry.
Who were your
You forget.
Who were your early influences, or who were the artists that you used to listen to when you first started listening to jazz?
Thelonious Monk and Bud Powell.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I found Thelonious Monk.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
For the kind of harmonies and the kind of and Bud Powell.
Yeah.
because then I discovered that I liked them immediately, because I played the piano and I thought it was great technique.
Yeah.
But later on, a few months later on, I discovered that he was playing exactly like Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie.
Yeah.
So all of them became what they call it bebop
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I embrace.
So how did it move from just loving the music to actually getting serious gigs and becoming? Because I know you went to Paris and studied.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously it ended up eventually playing with Dizzy Gillespie in New York.
Well, before I went to Paris, I have to tell you, let's put a little bit of drama in this. Easy. Otherwise, it's too easy. No, drama, real drama. We're talking about my life,
Yeah.
Sure.
and
Sure.
I don't want to. This is not I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
The drama comes from the fact that Argentina became governed by a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Juan Domingo Perón,
Yep.
and he was nationalist, and he didn't want anything that he called it from the American and British imperialism,
Yeah.
according to him. And he forbade the import of records from those countries, which means there was no more jazz.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to there was a somebody from the American Merchant Marine
Yeah.
who he liked that music, and he came he was traveling between New York City and Buenos Aires every 2 months. Every time he came, I had to order. He brought me a catalog of record companies, the releases, and through him, I was buying records, but I couldn't bring them legally to the country. I had to put them, like even in the summer days, I had to wear a raincoat and put the record under my belly, and it was dangerous.
Yeah.
I had to pass customs without declaring the record, and that was very dangerous.
I imagine it was, and that shows the passion for the music. And
Yeah.
yeah. And
So this is what happened in the older period. But later on, I started to study composition with an Argentinian composer and professor and theorist, and he found out that there were scholarships granted by the Paris Conservatory, and I made the application and I won. I had to be by competition, and I won the competition, and for that I went to study at the Paris Conservatory. I studied, kept going with composition, but I studied also orchestration, fugue, counterpoint,
yeah.
Harmony, and all the things. And I stayed there 4 years.
4 years. And in the evenings, were you playing in clubs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep because first of all I was young,
Yeah.
and I thought that sleeping is a waste of time. I had to studying for the conservatory was very, very serious.
Yeah.
That was no joke. That was very, very serious. I had to study all the subjects, and it was quite serious. And then at night, I was playing jazz. When I came back after the club, I came back to my apartment. Then I did the work of the things I had to do for the conservatory.
Sure, yeah.
And I had to, then I would have breakfast and I take the subway and I go.
Wow, no sleep. And so how did that go from Paris? You went back to Argentina from Paris, or was it straight to New York?
No, I went back to Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little bit depressing.
Yeah.
Because the only thing I wanted to see my parents, my family, yes, that was good. But from a point of view of career, with my horizons,
yeah,
I didn't care too much. But maybe I was lucky. You know, there's an Argentinian poet who said that chance and destiny are synonymous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep. Wise words.
And it was, because I arrived to Argentina in, I remember exactly, September of 1956.
Yeah.
March of 1956.
Yeah.
In September of that year, Dizzy Gillespie came with his band on a tour that was promoted by the State Department.
Mm-hmm.
They were sending jazz bands. That was in the Cold War.
Yeah.
And they were sending jazz to attract young people all over the world, to convince them that America has a great music, very attractive, very dynamic. But I didn't care about that. I care about the Dizzy Gillespie.
Yeah.
and I want to tell you that when I, from March 1956, right away I found sponsors, because I wanted to put together a big jazz band, which didn't exist in Argentina. But despite the fact that the government was too busy talking about anti-communism or anti-whatever, political things, or also the Falkland Islands are Argentinian, they said. All these things that you know.
Yeah.
And because of that, the radio station, a very important radio station, hired me, because they knew that the government wouldn't get involved in this. And I was the only jazz man, really jazz man, all Argentina. I put together all the best jazz musicians that I could find. I don't know if you heard of Gato Barbieri.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes?
I have his records.
He was in my band.
Ah.
And that gives you an idea. All the people were amazing jazz musicians, very good. And we started to play. I did the charts, either my own original compositions or some standards of. I did one tune of mine called Salute to Basie.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, Count Basie.
huh?
Yeah, Count Basie.
Yeah, never been recorded or released.
Yeah.
You know, it's not known, but this is one of the things I did. So when Dizzy Gillespie came with his band,
Yep.
and it was an amazing band too. The same kind of orchestration: 4 trumpets, 3 trombones, 5 saxophones, 2 altos, 2 tenors, 1 baritone, and then rhythm section. I play the piano in my own band because I conducted from the piano.
Okay.
So Dizzy came, and well, first of all, I couldn't believe it, that one of my biggest idols was coming in person. So I bought tickets for. He played there for 1 week in a theater, concert theater.
Yeah.
And not only me, but my home band, all the members, they also, for every concert, like there were matinees on Saturday, Sunday, and at night every other day of the week. And I canceled all my work at the radio and the television.
Yeah.
So we went, and one guy, an Argentinian friend of mine, who was very wealthy, said, "Wouldn't you like to have your band play for this to show him how is the jazz in this country?"
Wow.
And I said, "Yeah, I would love it."
Yeah.
So he paid for a little theater with they have also tables. They said it was during the he organized a luncheon.
Yeah.
So they were having food and drinks, and it's all the members of this band were invited. This is his wife, Lorraine Gillespie.
Yeah.
And they all came, and we played for them.
Wow. I bet that was amazing. I bet that was amazing, an amazing feeling to...
I was a little bit nervous, but it was a fantastic opportunity. I didn't even know what was going to... I didn't do it with the idea of career. I did it for just the pleasure of sharing my music with these musicians.
Yeah.
He had great. Phil Woods was an alto. Quincy Jones was a fourth trumpet in the band.
Amazing.
And it was Billy Mitchell, tenor saxophone. I'm talking about different guys.
Yeah.
Nelson Boyd was the bass. So when we finished, they all applauded.
Wow.
Except Dizzy. Dizzy was not in the table. I looked, where is Dizzy? His table was there were 5 people, including his wife, but he wasn't there. I said, well, he left? No, what happened is he was walking through the stage, and he came to see me, because I was a conductor.
Yeah.
And he said to me, who wrote these charts? And I said, I did. Would you like to come to the United States?
Amazing.
Yeah. You just said it. Amazing. From there on, my life changed for the better.
On the first plane out, straight to New York. So didn't you? So you went with Diz and joined Dizzy's band, and obviously you wrote for him as well.
What do you say?
So when you joined Dizzy's band, you wrote compositions for him as well. He recorded your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Piano Suite.
So,
you know that, no?
No?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. And
The Piano Suite is...
And
there's an expression in classical music.
Yeah.
There's an expression.
Yeah.
Called when you are Iana. For instance, Villalobos, the Brazilian composer,
Yeah.
he wrote Bahianas Brasileiras, which is Brazilian music that is honoring Johann Sebastian Bach, Bachianas. So I wrote the Gillespiana Suite, honoring Gillespie.
Yeah. And that's been recorded, isn't it? 1960, I think it was.
So you don't know that piece?
I know it. Yes, sorry. It was. I think the phone broke up. Yes, I know the piece. Yeah, I know. It was. Yeah. So, and so that was recorded in 1960. How was he to work with? With regards to, did you compose together? Did you work together on writing stuff? Was he just amazing to work with, or was he difficult to work with? Was it a clash of styles?
Well, it could be difficult because he's very perfectionist.
Yeah.
He has two facets. I'm talking in present, although he passed away. For me, he didn't. He's still alive.
Yeah.
I had a great time with him.
Yeah.
He was not only a band leader, but he was a composer, as you know.
Yeah.
Great virtuoso of his instrument, trumpet.
Yeah.
But also he was a great teacher.
Yeah.
And also a great friend for me.
That's a lovely thing to say.
I studied in Paris and Argentina and with the greatest teachers, professors, and I learned a lot with them. But I learned more from Dizzy.
Wow.
Because he had the harmonies, the roots of a chord was very, very, very well put together, and one note on top of the other. People think that he played too many notes and he was playing anything. Any note that he played, and if you can pay attention, when you listen to it, maybe in slow motion, every note that he plays when he plays fast is part of a chord. And the chord is exactly where it is at the moment. If anybody, for instance, I heard him saying once to there was a big, I did arrangements for big symphony orchestra for him, and there was some of them my own compositions, some his composition, or sometimes composition by somebody else, Charlie Parker. He would say, in the middle of a whole tutti in the rehearsal, he would say, the second oboe is playing a B natural, it should be a B flat. And this is in the middle of a tutti, very loud. In the middle of that, he could hear every single instrument. And every note that he played also was part of a chord, no matter how fast he played it.
Amazing.
People don't realize that.
People, I think the word great is used a lot, but the word great definitely defines Dizzy Gillespie, you know. So so you worked with lots of other great musicians as well. So many names that are just, heroes of the great golden jazz age. And but then one I did want to ask about was one album that's close to my heart that you worked with on Jimmy Smith, The Cat. How was it? I was fortunate enough to meet Jimmy Smith before he died. How was it working with Jimmy Smith? Did you work a lot close with him, or because obviously a lot of the music on that record as well is your music?
Well, unfortunately, it's not fortunately, unfortunately. I told you about the destiny and chance.
Yeah.
I was going with we were doing tours.
Yeah.
Norman Granz, you know.
Yeah.
You know who Norman Granz was.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was an empresario. Very important, very good. He was a nice guy. He organized a tour with two names.
Okay.
Jimmy Smith Trio.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Smith, we did a tour in Europe. I think we went also in England, because we played London, Coventry, many places in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
During that tour, we were all in Sweden, Norway, Holland, France, Italy, Spain. We've been all over.
Yeah.
And the program was started with Jimmy Smith Trio, and then there was an intermission, and after the intermission, this is band. We were all going. So we were traveling, and the first time, as we were going to the airport, to the plane in the New York airport, at that moment, there was a guy who comes and said to me, "Did you write the Gillespieana?" I said, "Yes." "Well, this is my card. When you come back, please call me." So I didn't know who the guy was, and he was Jimmy Smith's manager. But I didn't have a clue who he was or anything. I didn't know his name. I mean, he told me his name there, but I didn't recognize it. So, anyway, he was a nice guy. And when I came back, I called him. And we had lunch. And he says to me, "Do you plan to be always a pianist with Dizzy Gillespie, an arranger?" "Well, I'm very happy here." "Yeah, but tell me something. This is much older than you, and sooner or later he's going to retire. Are you planning to always be with him?" "Well, I don't know. Let me ask you something," he says. "If you were not with Dizzy, what would you like to do?" I said, "Well, I would like to write music for movies and television." "Oh, that's easy," he says. I thought, easy? Those were more difficult things to get into Hollywood. But he got it, because he was making business with a publisher, music publisher of MGM Inc.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not only the movies, everything.
Yeah.
And they knew each other, and right away he got me movies. So it was difficult to tell Dizzy, I'm going to have to leave you because I got movies, and Dizzy was very, he didn't demand, on the contrary.
Yeah.
I'm very glad, Lalo. I'm very glad that you had the time to be with me, and he invited me for lunch and so, and his house with his wife. It was very, very nice.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
I said to him, "What? I promise you that any pianist you can get, I'll help by training him or teaching him things that you, like for instance, he taught me how to accompany.
Yeah.
Many people they don't know how to accompany. He says, I'm a wind instrument. And when I take a breath, that's when I say boom. Don't play chords all the time, especially when I'm playing very fast.
Yeah.
And these things people don't know. These are the kind of things that he was very, very, very conscientious about. Anyway, so don't worry, I'll be a pianist. You don't have to teach him anything. I'll teach him. So that's the new career.
Amazing. And so that was it, signed to MGM, and
Yeah.
and then becoming probably, for me, probably the most unique, probably some of the most unique scores that were ever written, because there are some fantastic composers in film, but some don't have their own voice quite like you do. You know, some of your stuff is so unique, it's such a combination of lots of different types of music that it becomes a genre in its own right, Lalo Schifrin, you know. And so how different was it approaching a film? Because obviously it was something new to you, but how different was it approaching creating a film score than writing music that's come from the heart for yourself? Was it different because it was influenced by the image, or was it something that you just approached the same way as writing jazz?
Well, one thing that helped me. Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Oh, I hear an echo.
Yeah, sorry.
One thing that helped me a lot
Can
was the fact that my father in Buenos Aires, he took me a lot to see opera.
Mm-hmm.
He played with the Philharmonic Orchestra of Buenos Aires, played not only symphony music, but played also ballet and opera. That was part of their contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, he would take me a lot to rehearsals. I saw great singers and also great conductors, Arturo Toscanini.
Mm-hmm.
That helped me a lot. Great soloists, Yasha Heifetz on violin. Solo, they were amazing.
Yeah.
So you have to realize, in the 19th century,
Yeah.
the only entertainment using audiovisual counterpoint was opera, because films were not invented yet.
Yeah.
When you have a drama or a comedy with music, the only thing they had was opera, or sometimes operetta,
Mm-hmm.
musicals. I would advise any young composer who wants to go into films to go to see and hear operas, because it's a very good training. Not only training, it's a good opening to this audiovisual concept. Besides, let me tell you something. When I was a child, I didn't have any idea that I was going to end up in this business.
Yeah.
I was going to museums. This is my own development.
Yeah.
I was going to museums and looking at painting and said, what kind of sound I would put to that painting. I made when I was in grammar school,
Yeah.
I would take a pencil with color orange and I would do a little blotting thing, just orange in a piece of white paper. And then I think, what is the color? What is the music for the color orange? And this is nobody asked me. I would say it's two oboes in minor sequence, unison with a harpsichord. And you know something? I still think so. I still think so.
And I think that's
I was maybe 6 years or 7 years old.
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a very unique mind. I think that explains a
Yeah.
lot. And so that when you were saying that made me think about the cover for the album. There's a whole Lalo Schifrin going on, which
Yeah.
I and I think that's a brilliant album, and I think a lot of people that I know, it's one of their favourites, and
Thank you.
it's to me, yeah, we played it on the show and everything before, and is it that's an album that I must imagine that you're very proud of, and that it's what's nice about it is it's still got that big film score feel about it, but it is clearly a jazz album, and it was probably ahead of its time as well. And could you talk a little bit about how that came about?
Oh, this is a long time ago, but I remember
Sorry.
very long. I remember that there was a disc jockey, I don't remember, in New York City,
Yeah.
who he had a program, or it was, the title was There's a Lot of Shifting Going On.
Yeah.
And that's the way it came out. I thought a lot of shifting, Lalo Schifrin. There's a whole lot of shifting, he said, and there's a whole Lalo Schifrin. That's the way it came out.
And but the music on the album, I mean, unbelievable. It's a brilliant album, and was it? Did it come out exactly how you wanted to? Is there any interesting stories behind it? Is there anything that was left off of it that you feel you should have left in, or?
Because it almost sounded like a film score in itself to a film that never existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is before I was doing music for films.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful. So going on to films then. So obviously there's still to this day you'll hear the great soundtracks that you've done, like Bullet, Mission Impossible. They're just so used constantly to this day, and they never get old, and they still sound modern. But one story I heard today that I never heard before is that you've done the soundtrack to The Exorcist, but it never got used.
The last part of your phrase, I lost it because you forgot our
Sorry.
rule. You talk too fast, and
Sorry,
I couldn't get it.
I apologise. Yes, what I heard today for the first time was that I heard that you did the soundtrack to the film The Exorcist, but it never got used because it was too scary, apparently.
That was a misunderstanding between the director and myself.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big problem.
Okay.
Really a misunderstanding. I didn't understand what he wanted, and he didn't know how to express exactly what he wanted, and it was a miscommunication.
Okay. I'm going to try and hear that soundtrack, though. I'd love to hear that, so I'm going to look for it online.
What?
Sorry. I'm going to try and listen to your soundtrack for it, though, if I can find it online, because that would be amazing to hear. But so when you're working with a director on a soundtrack, how much do you take from the director, or do you try and just do your own thing completely?
No, look, I've done so many movies and television shows that this miscommunication is, from a statistic point of view, is 0.2% of all my work.
Yeah.
I got along with all many difficult directors, but I understood not only what they wanted, but for example, the work between a composer and a director is the director may have ideas already.
Yeah.
And I have my own idea. When I see the movie for the first time, I get ideas myself.
Yeah.
So the best way to work is to propose both ideas, and if most of the time directors listen to the composer because they need, or her, if it's a woman, they need the composer, because without music the movie might, except maybe for some documentaries, they don't need music, but in general, for instance, how would you do a horror movie without music?
Yeah.
And so they need the director, the composer. The composer may tell them some of his or her ideas. He also may have ideas. And the idea, the whole thing is to make a kind of deal. For instance, I tell a director, I don't agree with that. I think we should do this and this and this. I say, oh, you are right. And that would be, or we will, maybe here we do what you want, but here maybe we do what I want, because we make a deal. We split the difference. And that's the way we work, the rational way to work.
And when it gets right, I mean, I think that especially Dirty Harry, Bullet, Enter the Dragon, I think that the films just wouldn't be the same without the music. The music is almost bigger than the movie now, and you know, certainly some of those themes, they live on their own so much to the point they're used in other things. It's just some phenomenal work there. But you worked a lot with Don Siegel, and so I guess
I appreciate very much what you're saying. And in this case, yes, the director and the producer, they had ideas. But when I saw it, I told them, can I do this? If I fail, I pay the musicians again to do another recording, another scoring session, which is expensive.
Yeah.
Why don't you let me do it my way? And they did, and they loved it. Not only them, but Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
He came to me. Well, he came to the session, and after a few months, he went to Hong Kong. When he came back to Los Angeles, he came and said to me, "What kind of sport you do?" I said, "I do tennis."
Yeah.
Oh, forget about tennis. You have to do martial arts. No, really.
Yeah.
And he came to my house. I had a big place I do gym, my gym. I do weights and said, no, you have to forget about it. He put together a dojo.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Yes. Yeah.
And he started to teach me martial arts.
Wow.
And to the point, the first thing he told to me is the first fight is no fight.
Oh, really?
And it was fantastic because, for instance, do you have time for a little story, true story?
Yes, of course, yeah.
You're calling from London?
Yes, that's fine.
For you it's going to be very interesting because it happened in London.
Oh, fantastic.
So he was traveling, and he put together another guy here. He had a group of people who he taught martial arts, and they were in different cities. And here in Los Angeles there was, I don't remember now the name. He's the one who kept, when Bruce Lee wasn't here, he was the one who, you probably know his name because he's a very famous guy too. I don't remember now. Anyway,
Okay.
I became a black belt
Wow.
because because they do exams.
Yeah.
Sure.
You have to go to
Grading.
competitions and do, and it's difficult because they give you all the things you have to do, and I did it. And they gave me first I got a yellow belt, I got my green belt, brown belt, and finally black belt.
Amazing.
Huh?
Amazing. And you were taught by Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Oh.
And as I told you, don't forget this, the best fight is no fight.
Yeah.
Because I never had a fight, ever. I never needed to have a fight. Besides, I'm a pianist. I have to take care of my hands.
Yeah.
I don't like fights. I'm not aggressive. I'm not normal guy.
Yeah.
But I have to do. You remember the movie? It was about the general. The eagle has landed.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I had to record the music in London,
Yeah.
but I finished because I was doing other things here, and I had to finish it fast.
Yeah.
Because it had to be copied, and you had to arrive in time, and I was doing other things, so my flying time, they got very close to the session. I had to be in London. I recorded it in a studio,
Yeah.
very, very known. My memory is not that good now.
That's okay.
It was a little bit outside of London. In one avenue, there is a Indian restaurant in the corner. Do you know which I'm talking about?
Maybe there's a few. There's a few. If you're just outside of London, there's
What?
just outside of London. There's a lot. So.
But anyway,
Yeah.
they put me in a hotel.
Yep.
I know that they changed now the title. It was the Inn on the Park.
Oh, I know the Inn on the Park. Yes, I know the Inn on the Park. Yeah. Park
It
Lane.
was a nice hotel.
Yeah.
I arrived there fast. I had a very nice dinner, but fast.
Yeah.
And then I go to my room, and I needed to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I had to get up early in the morning, and with the jet lag, it was a mess.
Yeah.
And while I'm trying to sleep, the walls of the room were very thin, and I could hear everything going on in the next room.
Yeah.
And what I hear is, I don't know if it's a kind of orgy going on. No, really.
I believe you. I believe you.
There were two women and one man.
Okay.
With all the noises that happen during the, sexual, sexual act, and all the yeah, but you are laughing now, but I was not laughing. I needed to sleep,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they were the women. The guy had an American accent,
Yeah.
and the two women were very vulgar, Cockney. Obviously, they were English,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I started to make bum 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 on the wall
Yeah.
with my, I wanted them to stop or to make silence, and they started to make noises back.
Oh no.
Like the wall was a big drum.
Yeah.
And boom, 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 boom. And they were faster and louder. So I should have called the reception. That was my mistake.
Yeah.
But then I went out to see what was going on. And these people were so vulgar, they came out of their room and they started insulting me. I cannot tell you, the things that you say with insults.
Mm-hmm.
Very vulgar and very defiant. And I was thinking, the guy was also, and he was not too tall, but a very muscular.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think already when I'm going to hit him. In karate, you have to think, where are you going to do it? And they were coming with all kind of movements, and they were very aggressive. And so all of a sudden, I remember Bruce Lee. You know what a ki is in martial arts?
No.
Well, ki is, he uses in Enter the Dragon. Ki is, yeah!
Yeah.
You scream.
Right.
You scream, and not only you scream, but you kind of shake while you're screaming, and you jump up.
Yeah.
When you are in the air, this scream comes, it's called Kia, and your head is all, doing all kind of movements,
Yeah.
horizontal movement fast.
Yeah.
And I did that.
Yeah.
And these people thought that I was crazy, started to retrograde. They started to go back to their room. Something, I went back to my room and I slept like a baby.
Brilliant.
The best fight is no fight.
That's words I will live by.
Huh?
I will take that on board. I will listen and go forward. Not fighting ever again. That was excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent story. Okay, so obviously you were friendly with Bruce Lee. Did you teach him piano in exchange for martial arts lessons?
Well, it's I never met Bruce Lee before I did the movie, and even when I did the movie, he was not. When they shoot the scenes, I was not there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. And he did the only thing, he came to the session, recording session, and he liked the music.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I was lucky.
I'm not sure lucky is right. I think incredibly talented, and people wanted to work with you because of the amazing scores that you've done before. But the thing about your music is that a lot of people that we speak to that are musicians from the 90s always mention Lalo Schifrin as an influence. And a big thing that happened in the 80s and the 90s was people started to sample your music. What are your feelings about sampling?
About what?
About people sampling your music. So in the 80s and the 90s, there was a lot of record collectors, there was a lot of hip hop and dance music that would sample your music and make new music with it. How did you feel about that when that started to happen?
Well, it's very satisfying. I don't have a big ego.
Yeah.
I'm not a narcissist.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'll tell a very short story and maybe we can end with this.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
The CDs I was doing called Just Beat the Symphony?
Yes?
Okay, one of the Just Beat the Symphony, I did Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in Vienna, the land of Mozart, the land of Haydn, the land of Beethoven. Although he was born in Germany, he lived in Vienna. And there, I had a press conference there came all the critics, analysts, professors of classical music in that press conference. There were no jazz people. So there's a lady who asked me, why did you write Mission Impossible in 5/4? You know what it means 5/4, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you write the music of Mission Impossible in 5/4? I said, how do you answer that? I mean, I didn't know how to answer. So because I'm a jazz musician, I improvise. And I came up with this answer. I wrote in 5/4 for people who have tight legs. Yeah, you're laughing, but she didn't laugh. She took it for seriously. And all these critics and professors, they wrote it for real. And they published it 2 or 3 days after. It comes in the magazines or in the papers. Lalo Schifrin wrote the music of Mission Impossible for people who have 5 legs. My agent, who was at the moment, he was not there. He was in Germany. He said, "What are you trying to do?" And that's what I did. Mission Impossible for people who have 5 legs.
That's a brilliant story. That's a great comeback.
Thank you.
Lalo,
Well,
gone. Sorry.
no, I said it was very nice. I think I have to quit now.
No, I understand. We really appreciate your time and your wonderful stories, and how humble you are as a person is really touching. And thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day, and take
You
care.
too.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.